ladies and gentlemen, let's get to these. Before we get to that, this is your host, Julian Rico. Welcome to NFL Divisional Round Update. Let's get to these updates, shall we? We began in Kansas City, where the Chiefs beat the Texans 23-14. Our offensive player of the game was Travis Kelce with 7 receptions, 117 receiving yards, one receiving touchdown on that Chiefs offense. The defensive player of the game, George Karlaftis, 5 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits, as the Chiefs are back in the AFC Championship Game for the 7th straight year in a row. And yeah, there were some crucial calls that I could say, unnecessary roughness. That's not a roughing the passer. Plus, the late hit. Here's where I am. Why in the world are the refs not looking at this? Because they just think they're helping the Chiefs right now. And I can tell you the Chiefs are hearing this right now. It's simple as that. Meanwhile, for the Texans, they end the season in a heartbreak, well, maybe in a disappointing way. Of course, they kept it close, but Kyrie Fairbairn not only missing extra point, but missing 2 field goals. Something's going to have to be fixed in Houston, but for right now, the Chiefs are going to the AFC Championship Game. As much as this one, the biggest upsetting divisional round history, the Washington Commanders made a statement with a 45-31 upset win against the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Detroit Lions. Jane Daniels, 22 out of 31, 299 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no INTs, a QB rating of 122.9 rating for the offensive player of the game. Defensive player of the game, this was between Jeremy Chin, Dorrance Armstrong, and Mike Sainristil. But I have to give it to the Michigan Wolverine corner and rookie Mike Sainristil. 5 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, 2 passes defenses, and 2 INTs. This is a huge win. Now, back in the NFC Championship Game for the first time since 1991, the year that they've also won the Super Bowl, and their rookie quarterback is outstanding. And his first conference championship game, I think he's ready. He's focused on this game. And this, we get about the Commanders' defense, of course. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. That doesn't matter. What matters is they are the chaotic Commanders. Or should we call them the karaoke Commanders? Fourth quarter, it's them being chaotic. Big win. They go to the AFC Championship Game. Meanwhile, for the Lions, this is a heartbreaker. And let me say this, for my favorite team, this is a heartbreaker. You're the number 1 seed for the first time in franchise history. You get 15 wins, most wins in Lions history. And the city was in their eyes, closing their eyes, visioning the Detroit Lions winning this year. Unfortunately, those dreams this year faded away. But I think next season they'll get even healthier. And I think and that was the reason why they lost this game. Injuries are piling on their defense, of course. Well, in the meantime, let's see what happens then. Either Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn takes their head coaching jobs, or they say, we're going to stay here. We're not giving up. We're going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. Let's go to Philly. The Eagles with a snow win against the Rams, 22-28. Offensive player of the game goes to Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 205 rushing yards. He averaged 7.9 yards on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns. The defensive player of the game goes to Jalen Carter. 5 total tackles, 3 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackle for loss, 1 pass defense, 3 QB hits. A big defensive win for the Eagles. But honestly, we got to think, hey, back in the AFC Championship Game for the second time in the last 3 seasons, it's revenge time for the Eagles. Of course, you remember 2 seasons ago, they made it to the Super Bowl, lost to the Chiefs. Last season was a disastrous year. This year is that same year from that 2 seasons ago. Well, now you got Barkley. Jalen Hurts, of course, is injured, but he did say in the press conference that he will be playing this game despite the knee injury. Meanwhile, for the Rams, honestly, we got to give LA some credit, of course, because they're playing for the city of Los Angeles due to wildfires, of course. But an impressive season, of course, getting that big win against the Rams, against the Vikings on the wild card weekend. But their season, they're heading to the right direction. Maybe next year, if you're picking an underdog to win the Super Bowl, it's the Rams. So in the NFC, that means it is the Commanders versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll preview the NFC Championship games right after the game of the week. The game of the week is the Bills knocking off the Ravens 25-27. Josh Allen, 16 out of 22, 127 passing yards, no touchdowns, no INTs, a QB rating of 86.7 rating. The defensive player of the game goes to Matt Milano, 3 total tackles, 1 solo tackle, 3 QB hits for the first time ever. Not first time ever. For the first time, they're back in the AFC Championship Game since 2020. Remember, 4 seasons ago, they went to the Arrowhead for their first conference championship game since 1994. They lost to Kansas City. They stuck in the playoffs. They kept fighting, but not enough to get to that conference championship game. And this win was huge against Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and the #1 rushing defense in the NFL. Not going to lie, this Bills team is ready. They're ready. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, they're going to have to go get some wide receivers. And I do expect them to make an extension for Derrick Henry. Because, yes, remember, this offseason, they did sign him on a 2-year deal. I would give him a 4-year extension or 5-year extension for the King to remain in the North. But right now, heads are down in Baltimore. And next season, we'll see how this goes. That means we get, once again, Bills, Chiefs in the AFC Championship Game. Let's preview these conference championship games. All right, let's start in the NFC. We got the Commanders and the Eagles. I'm not going to make a prediction on this game or the AFC until Friday or Saturday when we get close to the conference championship game. But let's talk. Washington and Philly. Third meeting this season, of course. They split the 1-1 record. Jay Daniels, phenomenal year, trying to get back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1991. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, they're trying to seek to look back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2022 year. Of course, when they made that move to get A.J. Brown. Yeah. Question is going to be, how will the Washington Commanders defense going to slow down Saquon Barkley? Remember, they did not slow down Jahmyr Gibbs. However, they are 5th. They rank 5th in takeaways. So that is something we're going to have to keep an eye on for that game. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one. And can Jaden Daniels in the big games find ways to make big plays in the biggest game of his career against a stout Eagles defense. That's one I will keep an eye on when we get to prediction videos. Now let's talk about the AFC Championship game. Now this is going to be another game that I think Bills fans will think about. Remember, back in 2020, this is that rematch, of course, in 2020 season where the Bills lost 38-24. This year, this Bills team is ready. Now, of course, we remember they already faced each other already in the regular season. Josh Allen won that one. Can Josh Allen lead this team to getting to the Super Bowl? It's been a long time they haven't been to the Super Bowl. They have not been to the Super Bowl since 1994. And for the Chiefs, they're trying to seek for a third Super Bowl. So that's something we already know in history. But only question is going to be, how will the Bills defense going to slow down Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense? We know we saw that in the regular season, but here they are in the postseason, and they have to have a better performance against this Chiefs offense in Arrowhead. Next question, how's the Bills offense going to be able to score against this Chiefs defense? Of course, they're fourth in scoring defense, so that is something the Bills already faced before. But if they can establish the running game and their defense can finally slow down Kelce or anybody in that Chiefs team, they could be the ones who can dethrone the Chiefs and knock them out for a three-peat. That is it, folks. If you have not seen my other videos, go ahead and check that out in my channel. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.